A universal piece of criticism against the Vision Pro is typing using the imaginary floating in the air keyboard, which I can back up from experience isn't very good. But people said the same thing about the original iPhone, which ditched a physical keyboard compared to the BlackBerry. And these days, physical keyboards for your iPhone are more of a novelty than a standard accessory that everybody buys. So to get to the bottom of just how bad the Vision Pro keyboard is, I took a bunch of different typing tests across a bunch of different keyboards. Here's what happened. So we're going to start with a baseline, my personal favorite keyboard, the one that I use with my Mac every day, the Model F by Model F Labs. I wrote a full review of this on Cult of Mac that you can check out if you want. This isn't a membrane keyboard or a mechanical keyboard. This is a buckling spring keyboard. So I'm just going to go to typingtest.com. I'm going to take a 3-minute test and, well, let's get started. Oh. Okay, so we ended up with 83 words per minute, which is apparently pretty fast. I didn't think I was especially fast as a typist, but this is also my theoretical maximum, so we're going to see how close other keyboards can get. So now we're going to jump into the deep end. If you haven't noticed, I'm now wearing my Vision Pro, so I'm going to open Safari here, typingtest.com, take another 3-minute test, same degree of difficulty, and we'll see how I do. Start test. Oh my god. I'm genuinely trying to type as fast as I possibly can in this thing, if you can't tell. Oh, thank God it's over. Oh, 23 words per minute. On one hand, that's less than a quarter of what I could type on my keyboard on my Mac. On the other hand, that's 2/3 the speed of the average typist. And that's net speed with typos. My typing speed of 30 WPM is actually much closer. That's what, 5/6 the speed of the average typist. And I will also say typingtest.com doesn't do as much intelligent autocorrection as what the Vision Pro would do. I made a lot of typos in leaving out apostrophes, mispunctuating, trying to hit space twice to do a period where it wouldn't do it on typingtest.com. So the net speed should actually be a little closer than what it's telling me is my actual final score, which would put me actually not that far behind what it claims is the average typist. So that's interesting. But this also isn't your only option for typing with a Vision Pro. You can also connect any old Bluetooth keyboard. This one, made by Matthias, is called the Laptop Pro, and it's a really nice experience. You put on the headset and you don't have to repair it every time. You just start typing and it'll connect and it'll just work. So I'm going to retake the typing test using this Bluetooth keyboard and see how much closer to my original results we can get. And we're going to start again, same 3-minute test, same difficulty. Start test. Oh, there we go. Okay, so here we got 60 words per minute, which is still pretty fast compared to the average typist and well over double what I got typing on the on-screen keyboard. But that's still only 3/4 of the speed of my Mac in my office. And you might think, well, that doesn't make sense. They're both physical keyboards. They should, in theory, be the same. But there actually is quite a bit of Bluetooth lag that I noticed as I was taking the test. I would go back to hit the delete key because my fingers knew that I made a typo, but that hadn't appeared on the screen on the website yet, so I didn't know how many times I needed to delete before I started typing again. That led to a lot of issues that when you're taking a speed test really add up and can affect the final score. So now we're starting to build a little bit more of a clearer picture here, but I want to put that number at the very bottom in a little more context. So now I'm back at my desk and I'm going to try doing a handwriting test. Supposedly human handwriting can peak at about 20 words per minute, which would be in the ballpark of what you can do on-screen typing on the Vision Pro. So I've copied the typing test onto my screen here, and I'm going to try to see how much I can do handwriting it. I'm going to have to time and tabulate the results myself, which I'm going to do with the help of this old school iPod Touch. I've got 3 minutes and let's go. Oh. There we go. I would say I got about a third of the way. So that's what I was able to write in 3 minutes in that chicken scratch handwriting. And that's how much of the original text it is. Okay, so I just ran the numbers. I wrote 86 words in total, 84 of which were in the original text. I added a few. And I end up with a final net word count of 80, because I missed a few words as well. That puts me at a remarkably similar words per minute compared to typing in the air on the Vision Pro. As stupid as you look, hunting and pecking at nothing in the air with 2 fingers, you end up with a remarkably similar word count to handwriting on paper, which is very surprising. Because handwriting feels natural, you write as fast as you can. Hunting and pecking on the Vision Pro is incredibly tedious. That 3 minutes felt forever. I immediately wanted it to end. But there is actually one more thing I want to try. Because the first time I was typing on a Vision Pro, I immediately was reminded of something else entirely. Typing on a typewriter. So to prove my theory that hunting and pecking with 2 fingers on a Vision Pro is very similar to 2-finger typing on a mechanical typewriter, I'm going to replicate the test again on this Smith Corona machine that I have in front of me here. I've copied down the same typing test. I'm going to do it yet again with the help of my manual timer here, the iPod Touch. So without further ado, we'll get started. Oh, there we go. Okay, I'll run the numbers on this, see what we get. Now there is actually one more way to input text on the Vision Pro, and that is with voice dictation. This is what I find myself using most often when I'm just trying to reply to a text message and I don't have the physical keyboard with me. And I've actually found that voice dictation is surprisingly very accurate compared to other devices that I've done it on. I quickly discovered that dictation simply doesn't work with the typingtest.com website. So once again, I had to homebrew my own solution. I have the reference text here. I'm going to dictate it on here, see how accurate it is. And once again, I'm going to time myself using the iPod Touch. So without any further ado, when we hear outlaw, we think of criminals, but outlaws aren't just any kind of criminal. So right away, I noticed that it got almost all of the words correct. I don't really see a lot of mistakes there, but it didn't punctuate it very well at all. It's supposed to automatically place periods, and you can see a few that it got correct here and there. But to be fair, this isn't really a text message that you would send another human. It's not really supposed to be used for blocks of text this big, so the accuracy may not be where you want it. But on the other hand, I was able to dictate this entire thing in literally half the time it took me to type. I ran out of script and had to stop it early. So maybe typing on the Vision Pro, if you don't need perfect punctuation, isn't so bad after all. So here are the final results. And as you can see, using a physical keyboard is really important. It makes me feel a little better knowing that the virtual Vision Pro keyboard is about as fast as handwriting or using a typewriter. But on the other hand, we moved away from those things for a reason. The Vision Pro Virtual Keyboard is still finicky, frustrating, and hard to use, with literally no physical feedback whatsoever. But shockingly, if you really care about speed, unless you are an incredible typist, nothing comes even close to voice dictation, which is way up there on a league of its own. So remember to like and subscribe. I'm Griffin Jones with Cult of Mac.